CDAclub.com.
Covering the Crew all season long on WTMJ, it's Brewers Extra Innings. Now live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios in downtown Milwaukee at the Avenue. Here is your host, Dominic Cotroneo.
Oh, a gut punch to lose the series. That one stung hard. The Brewers clawed back from a 5-0 deficit to tie it up 5-5 to lose on a walk-off home run by Nolan Arenado off of Trevor McGill. There was a lot of chaos in this game. There were a couple of benchings. There was a questionable ruling. There was a sneaky important performance out of the bullpen. There were some good at-bats. A lot to break down in this one because the Brewers, I believe, are fractions away from channeling themselves from a year ago in that all of the mistakes and all of the issues they've run into in this 4-game losing streak and now going to 13-15 are self-correcting. But they haven't been able to cross that line to correct it. So what needs to happen to get back on track? We'll talk about it all with Craig Kashan in just a little bit. Right now, as we always do, let's give you the recap of how this 6-5 loss came to be.
Ready for this?
Out of here!
This?
One of the catches of the year!
And this?
It is gone!
Time for tonight's highlights.
Sonny Gray taking the ball for the Cardinals. Brewers have seen plenty of him up against Quinn Priester in his 4th start as a Brewer. This did not go well for Quinn. He allowed the leadoff man to reach in each of the first 3 innings. In the 2nd inning, it was a leadoff double by Nolan Gorman. Get him over, get him in. That's how the Cardinals brought him home on a sacrifice fly. But then in the 3rd inning, another leadoff double, but this time for Mason Wynn at the bottom of the order. At one point, he was behind 1-2 in that count. Then, the top of the order, funny name, good hitter, Lars Nootbaar. We'll get that Nootbaar highlight in just a moment. But next up was Wilson Contreras. He would end up grounding out, and that's the first out of the inning, but it moved the runner to third once again. Brendan Donovan, the batter, next with a 1-1 count. He makes sure to get some damage done against Priester. Okay, we need to make sure we get the highlight desk up here in just a moment, but first, it's now 3-0 Cardinals sorry, lost train of thought here as we're trying to move forward here with the highlights. Nonetheless, you know what? Scrap the highlights. This game stunk because all that really mattered is the highlight you want to hear is Jackson Chourio hitting a 2-run home run to tie the game. It was 5-3 in the 9th inning, and Chourio with his biggest swing of the year.
First pitch is a fly ball, deep left field, back at the track. We are tied! Jackson Chourio off the big Macland sign in left. A 2-run shot. It is 5-all in St. Louis.
Lane Grindle's call there. That was the only bright moment from this one. We'll talk about the botched play earlier in the game. We'll talk about Caleb Durbin and Sal Frelick coming out of this contest. The Brewers ultimately fall by a 6-5 final score. Take a breather. Come back with more after this on 620 WTMJ.
Brewers baseball is here. Time to pick your Brewers games and get back to the ballpark for tailgate traditions and walk-off wins. Don't miss any of the big games or the superstars. And come back for the best giveaways. Where else would you want to be? Brewers tickets for the 2025 season are on sale now. That's every game all summer long. Get on board for the show today. Grab your seats at brewers.com/ticket finder.
You only get one chance to make a first impression, and that goes double for your home listing, because that's how you're going to get the most value. By having a customized marketing plan specific to your property with professional photos, global marketing, and the built-in experience that Century 21 Benefit Realty has brought to the table since 2004. And being joined with Century 21 just makes all of the above stand out that much more. This is Angela Calais with Century 21 Benefit Realty, benefit-realty.com, where you pay less for full service. Each office is independently owned and operated.
So how is that possible? 1.9% real estate commission? There must be something you're not telling me.
I hear that a lot. The truth is, everybody could do it, but they choose not to because folks keep paying more than they have to. I guess they just haven't heard yet that Century 21 Benefit Realty can make that 1.9% real estate commission promise on the sale of your home and stick to it. So I'd like to think that's going to make your decision easy. This is Angela Calais with Century 21 Benefit Realty, benefit-realty.com, where you pay less for full service. Each office is independently owned and operated.
Vince Vitrano here for Connect Chiropractic. Get your aches and pains under control. But not only that, regular care with Connect Chiro can bring back your energy. A lot of folks start with headaches, back pain, and shoulder pain. How quickly you see results varies from person to person, but time and repetition are the key to staying on track. No twisting, no cracking, no popping. Connect Chiro docs use a special tool for all your adjustments, targeted results, and a gentler experience. Check out the new location in Oak Creek or get started at goconnectchiro.com.
Welcome back to Brewers Extra Innings.
6-5, the loss. Brewers lose back-to-back series on a road trip that was supposed to be a get-right road trip. 4 against San Francisco, tough opponent. 3 against the Cardinals, 3 against the White Sox. Well, now you've lost the series against the Cardinals. Try to avoid the sweep tomorrow. It's 4 losses in a row. Second time this year the Brewers have lost 4 in a row after not doing it all last year. We all know the cliches about how good the Brewers were at avoiding the big losing streaks, and now they've got 2 of them to start the year. Craig Kashan joins us now. I'm Dom Cotroneo. Craig, I just see a team that is so close to realizing its potential, but yet it feels so far away. I mean, we were talking, if it wasn't for Chourio there in the 9th inning to tie the game, but, I mean, why did 2 runs feel like 20 runs at certain points in this game? And kudos to them for finally showing a comeback ability. The Brewers don't have a multi-run comeback all year. They didn't get over the hump, but finally showed, okay, this was a team that was finding ways to win, that had the second most come-from-behind wins in baseball a season ago, to now only has 1 so far this season.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? What a difference a year makes. And, I think the thing about it is, and we've talked a lot about this over the course of the first month of the season, and you can't expect duplicate performances on everything positive from the year before. You got to experience different things. And that's what this group is experiencing right now. And I think it's important for, these younger players that are going to be with this organization, probably for several more years to come here, to experience the ups and downs. A lot of them were rookies or second-year players a year ago, and things don't come easy at this level, and they're starting to find that out now. I mean, who would have thought a guy like Sal Frelick would be benched in the middle of the game because he missed a cutoff guy, or, Durbin would be taken out for making a mistake on one of the things he's strongest at, and that's base running. So, but Murph wants to send messages. He wants these guys to learn how to do it the right way. He wants them to understand that there are things that are not acceptable. And so there's those things. And then I think the other thing on the flip side, there are some weeks like this, and there are moments in games like this where we see Jackson Chourio taking another big step in his career. I mean, if it wasn't for Jackson Chourio in most important parts of this game today, including the interference that was called in the middle of the 7th inning that spoiled the rally. I mean, but he was the guy on base. He had 4 hits in the game. He hit the tying home run. He moved to center field, made a nice catch late in the game of the 9th inning. So he's at center attention. So, the needle's bouncing on each side for me on this one. But I'm hoping that by now, 9th inning, the comeback, they were down by 5 the whole game. They haven't had a comeback like that yet this year. So hopefully they're going to take something like that and help Jose Quintana out tomorrow.
When I look at the Brewers' little mistakes, and you alluded to a few of them in that game, so Sal missing a cutoff man that allowed a runner to advance to eventually come in to score, Durbin getting picked off when you're down 5-1. those are two things that just should not happen in the big leagues, and those guys know that. But to be on the heels of a team meeting, closed door, let's set the standard, be an uncommon mindset, all the catchphrases that Pat Murphy uses, to then not meet that standard just 2 games later, it's, quite frankly, I'm surprised that Murph didn't pull him out right there, then and there, and sent him back to the hotel at some point, because this is the kind of thing that holds a team back. And kudos to Murph for having the guts to do it, to, quite frankly, his 2 probably favorite guys on the team. And I'm not trying to call somebody a coach's pet or anything like that, but he loves the undersized grinder because that's why he wanted to give the discipline to him. He calls it love and discipline. That is the style in which he manages this team. The love is when you give love to these undersized guys, give them a runway, give them a chance to perform in the big leagues, and the discipline is what we saw today. That's not good enough to be a big league player, and I quite frankly loved a response from the guys that came in after. I know Daz didn't have much of a game today, but Isaac Collins continues to say, you know what, give me this love, I will show you how disciplined I am. He continues to play well. What I see is a team that is lacking a little bit of competitive fire, of realization of this isn't okay to be 2 games under 500. The standard has been raised to the highest standard it has ever been held in Brewers franchise history. And if Pat Murphy feels you're not holding it to that standard, you're out of the game. And that's really refreshing, and I love it.
Well, and I know there's a lot of Brewer fans out there going, this team misses Willie. They don't have a leader here right now. My rebuttal on that would be this. Who called the team meeting the other day? I believe it was the manager. That doesn't happen very often, at this level. I think players understand that they need to air out some things. They need to, discipline and correct each other because they are the guys that are doing the job. They are the guys playing the game. So I thought that was interesting. But I think by Murph calling that the other day, and by Murph a couple of days later, taking 2 of, like you said, Dom, his favorite people out, favorite players out of the game. I also think it sends a message to the other veterans on the team that are you going to back me up, the manager? Are you pillars going to stand up straight and make sure that you let these guys know that was the right decision and that is not acceptable, and maybe tell them that may have happened to you at some point of your career, or you'd be surprised it happened to a former teammate of mine who is a big name. You have to go through this stuff. So if you're going to be a team, you've got to be a team from the top on down and understand everything and understand how to play the game the right way. And I think the point you bring up too right now is the sense of urgency doesn't appear to have been there lately anyway, and it's got to get back. It's got to be rediscovered in some form or fashion that this team can, play the game the right way and move forward, because they can do it. They've done it before, and they did it all of last year. A lot of these guys were there and have done it, and they need to do it again.
Let's talk a little offense coming up on the other side of this break. The Brewers, man, it's just, we haven't even talked about the game itself. We've just talked about the little things surrounding this team, which is never something you want to talk about and try to bring highlight to. But we are going to talk about Chirio's 4-hit game. We're going to talk about his epic home run. Reese continues to swing a hot bat, too. We also got to talk about some underperformers, too, of why the Brewers are in this position, 2 games under 500. But first, if you're looking for a banking partner, truly understands your business needs, look no further than Fifth Third Bank. With a local team right here in Milwaukee, they know how to hit it out of the park every time. For 15 years, they've been serving our community with industry-specific expertise and local decision-making that helps your business thrive. Experience the unique commercial banking value only Fifth Third can deliver. Fifth Third Bank, National Association, member FDIC. The phone number, 855-616-1620. Again, 855-616-1620. You can call, you can text, join us here on the program. I got a few texts to read in the next segment. Back after this on WTMJ.
Coming up, more Brewers Extra Innings on WTMJ.
Who's looking for a better deal? Well, Cousin Sub's $10 meal deals just got better. Available online only. Order your 7.5-inch meal deal today and upgrade it with a large fountain beverage, large fry, regular shake, or regular Wisconsin cheese curds. Prices vary by item from $1 to $2 a piece. Make it better and make it your own way. Now that's a better deal. For further details or to order, go to cousinsubs.com or on the mobile app. Cousin Subs. We believe in better. Available online at participating locations only. Offers subject to change without notice.
There's an amazing supper club in Wisconsin Dells, Ishnala, nestled among the pines and perched above the sandstone bluffs of Mirror Lake. The beauty, the history, the service, the food, the fun. Hi, this is Bob Prosser, owner of Ishnala Supper Club in Wisconsin Dells. I've been a part of Ishnala since 1973, and I am so proud to continue the tradition that began in 1953. Why not enjoy a brandy old-fashioned in one of our bars, each with a spectacular view overlooking Mirror Lake, or just relax before or after dinner on one of our outdoor decks. Our Ishnala chefs have prepared your favorites: 24-ounce ribeye, cold water lobster tails, North Atlantic salmon, and of course, Ishnala's roast duck. Thank you for making Ishnala Wisconsin's favorite supper club, where the only thing we overlook is Mirror Lake. I'm Bob Prosser, and I want to serve you.
Shop Beauty Rest Black mattresses at Steinhafels. Right now, the new Beauty Rest Black is only $42 per month when you use Steinhafels 60-month financing. Plus, get up to $300 in Steinhafels cash. Shop in-store or online at steinhafels.com.
Feeling thrifty? Wisconsin State Fair's got you covered. It's the last week for $14 admission tickets. Plus, discounted cream puffs sweeten the deal. With a sale this good, you'll be feeling good at the Wisconsin State Fair. Presented by U.S. Cellular, July 31st to August 10th.
This is Brewers Extra Innings.
Let's start with the positives from this one because it's going to be a negative-heavy show. I'm Tom Cotroneo. Craig Kashan is here, too. Oh, man. Jackson Chourio. Can't say enough good things about him. Good to see him kicking it back into gear here. We talked about how he looked like he needed a day off on Wednesday, having that tough game in San Francisco, was getting swing happy, had the day off on Thursday, has now returned these last two games to playing better, culminating today in a 4-hit afternoon, including the game-tying homer off of an all-star closer in Ryan Helsley. So now 6 for 9 in this series with 3 extra base hits, and maybe the most important column, Craig Kashan, a 0 in the strikeout column, putting bat to ball and doing damage with it.
Yeah, he's good, man. I love watching him play so much because of games like this, Dom, and not just because he had 4 hits, but mainly because he had 4 hits in the home run in the 9th inning. But just the fact that this guy just continues to grow in front of our eyes, and you can see it. I think that's one of the coolest things about how talented this player is. I know I've kind of talked about this before, but you know, the things that happen, a little bit of a slump, then Murph says just sit this game out in the middle of the week and learn from something. Just watch it from another angle, listen to it from a different perspective and stuff. So, and he does, and he figures it out. And when a team needs a guy to step up at a huge moment in that 9th inning, I mean, they're down to do or die basically at that point, and he represented the tying run, and he knows what to do. He found the right pitch and he did it. He doesn't even care who's on the mound. So I just love his growth, and it continues. This kid is just developing in something really, really special. It's not that he's going to be special. He already is really, really special.
And to see him continue to blossom and to continue to understand, okay, hey, I'm seeing a ton of sliders right now. Him to go to the opposite field before that home run for his 3rd hit of the game. I thought that was a good sign that his approach is changing and he's understanding, still only 21 years old, and he's going to have a big role moving forward. The rest of the offense, though, a lot of things to talk about here. Reese gets another hit, 1 for 3. He lined out in a run-scoring opportunity, hang with him, 101 off the bat. Not mad about that at all. But the way I look at this lineup, I mean, Yelly goes 1 for 5 today with a lot of ground balls. In fact, the one hit was an infield hit with the ground balls. He's having trouble elevating right now. You look at Contreras. Contreras going 1 for 4 with a walk is fine, but at the same time, Contreras only having 5 extra base hits in the first 26 games of the season was not in the cards for the Brewers to be successful, so you need to get him going as well. It can't just be Jackson Chourio, and it can't just be Rhys Hoskins, because as we've talked about over and over with this team's construction, if the guys in the middle aren't producing with slug, with power, with that sort of thing, it's a lot easier to shut down guys that put bat to ball and hope for the best as opposed to the guys that can put the ball over the fence. That's why home runs are so expensive. But at the same time, if Bryce has had a cold series here and a cold road trip since leaving San Francisco, I should say. And then furthermore, the bottom half of this order with Joey Ortiz, Vinny Capra struggling, the Brewers feel like they can't restart a rally once they get past Rhys Hoskins in the order right now. They tried to start Jake Bauers today after having a couple of good games in San Francisco. Bauers goes 0 for 3 with a walk and a strikeout. So finding some sort of combination, finding some sort of offense from somewhere other than Chourio and Hoskins has been proven to be a little bit difficult right now.
And I think just from my perspective, and I'm sure you probably share this too, and I know a lot of Brewer fans do, it's really such a grind to watch this team struggle at times because you want the power, and there's not even power in most of these outs. And I think that is frustrating to watch. I can't imagine being a ball player, up and down this lineup, going through, pounding the ball in the ground for all of these, weekly hit infield outs. They can only rely on their speed for so many things. I mean, this team's capable of doing a lot more offensively, and I'm sure it's going to, click here, hopefully at some point very, very soon. But the whole thing, like you mentioned with Yelich, with elevation and stuff, Dom, I know they go through cycles, but I think collectively as a team like this, and we've seen it in the past, that's a little bit troubling, isn't it?
It's very troubling, quite frankly, because you're almost a fifth of the way, right? This is that first 32-game section, right? You can divide the season into 5 32-game, 30-game sections of whatever you want to be. And there are moments of brilliance from guys like Yelly, where, the grand slam the other night in San Francisco, but he's been pretty quiet at the plate since then, right? And then I wonder, I genuinely wonder this, and this is a conversation I need to have with Yelly. The DH days seem to get to him a little bit where he just doesn't do much on the DH side, and that's a hurdle that he needs to clear, and maybe it could be just conjecture from me saying he's always said he does not enjoy being a DH. He'll do it for the role of the team because defensively the Brewers feel better having Sal and Chourio, and when Mitchell is healthy, Mitchell playing defense in the outfield. But it's an adjustment that would like to be made sooner as opposed to later. There was a point in this game, Craig, that I turned to you against Sonny Gray, and I'm like, the Brewers don't have a swinging strikeout against Sonny Gray. They've been having great at-bats. They only had one whiff through the first 5 innings of this game. They only had one swing and miss. They're taking good at-bats, but something isn't connecting that they're not be able to produce more than they should.
Yeah, and it's troublesome, and it's hard to try to figure out and break down when these are the guys that have to go out and produce it. They're doing what they can and working on a lot of stuff. I just feel like there are so many cases that we're almost going through right now with some of these guys where, there's disappointment, there's frustration, there's, some anger, and there's been just very little success. And when success comes way down that rung on all of the ways to describe how your career's going right now, that's tough to go through. So I don't know, man. It's this is a tough one right now. I don't know if this is just going to be a first tough first full month of the season for this team offensively, or where they're going to go here, or if a guy like Christian Yelich just needs to get back to the outfield more often than he is right now, if he's feeling as great as he says he is, if that'll help him out. Not sure at this point, but they're not stringing things together offensively and passing that baton like we're used to seeing. That's for sure.
Yeah, the word that Murph uses all the time, being relentless. They haven't really had an inning like that for a while this year. Let's talk a little pitching coming up next. One more segment with Craig Kishon here as well, but a few texts that I've rolled in here too. This one from Nick. Is it at enough of a sample size to be worried about the Crew as a whole? Because I feel like there's a light at the end of the tunnel after the Cubs series. I don't think it's enough to be worried, but it's a sample size where you start to really think about, okay, what can change, what can be tweaked, because this feels stickier than the past. This one from Tom in Pewaukee. I think the Pat Murphy hot mic moment sums up how Brewers fans feel about this season so far. A team built on winning on the margins has lost every game on these margins and nonsense mistakes. Sure, there were guys coming off the IL, but for the most part, this is it. Even when things were going well, things didn't look this ugly. Frustrating so far, but the key word, so far. Back with more Brewers extra innings after this on 620 WTMJ.
On deck, more Brewers extra innings.
Don't think twice. Call Geis. For 70 years, Geis has been the trusted garage authority in Wisconsin. WTMJ's Greg Matzik here. Don't let a busted garage door get you down. Call my friends at Geis today. With brands like CHI and LiftMaster, they have doors for every budget and will even build custom designs to meet your exact needs. For swift and reliable garage repair solutions, go to GeisDoors.com. You can also visit their amazing showroom in Brookfield and their custom design room.
Don't think twice. Call Geis. When you need commercial or residential plumbing service, you need it now. Call Quality. We have over a 60-year track record of taking care of people. And with over 60 vehicles ready to respond to your needs, we'll be there in a hurry, so you won't have to worry. This is Anthony Zaneski. For commercial or residential plumbing service, call Quality and get the signature service you deserve.
Call Quality for the signature service you deserve.
Call Quality. Heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric. At Quality, we offer the most respected brand names in heating and air conditioning. Armstrong and Carrier. It doesn't get any better. And our technicians are top-notch. I know, because I handpicked every one of them. They're vetted and thoroughly trained. Hey, they're the cream of the crop. And that's why our quality workmanship guarantee is the strongest in the business.
Call Quality for the signature service you deserve.
Call Quality. Heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric.
Hey, John Mercure here for Azura Memory Care and Assisted Living. Their mission is to transform the culture of care, and they do it every day with compassion and with empathy. They've got locations throughout Southeast Wisconsin. I've been to the locations. I love how they treat the people who live there. They specialize in caring for those with early to late-stage Alzheimer's or other related dementia symptoms. They offer early memory loss classes. Wisconsin-based and family-owned. Kindness at the core. It's Azura Living. Check them out at azuraliving.com. It's Azura.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee. From the Annex Wealth Management Studios, this is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station. This is Brewers Extra Innings.
Brewers fall 6-5, walk-off fashion to Nolan Arenado and the Cardinals. I'm Dom Cotroneo. Craig Kishon is here as well. This text from Doug: both players came through, big players I imagine, but the problem is they had the last at-bat. This one hurts, but they have to put out this fire fast. It is a fire right now. A couple of performances I want to highlight, though, first, before we get too far astray into the pitching in this one. Yoel Payamps going 2 innings is massive. I know McGill ultimately gave it up there in the 9th inning, and he's available to go tomorrow, but Payamps going 6 up, 6 down with a pair of strikeouts, looking like the Yoel Payamps of old, was super significant because it saves Grant Anderson and Nick Mears for tomorrow. And then on that note, Abner wasn't sharp. I mean, this inning, that 6th inning should have been 12 pitches long. Instead, it was 20-something pitches long. But for him to deal with his own adversity of his own doing, to then get out of the frame against the middle of that order, I thought was very significant for him. So those two performances, I feel, get lost in the shuffle of sandwich of Quinn Priester's start and McGill's finish.
Yeah, and I think the other thing, too, just the way kind of the ebb and flow of this game, it just, I think you mentioned it earlier in the show, at times it just didn't seem like this game was as close as it was, especially when it started progressing when Uribe came in and Payamps, but how important it was for them to fill up those 3 innings and keep it within striking distance. Otherwise, that home run doesn't matter by Churio in the 9th inning. So they did a terrific job. And they've got Uribe's still got to navigate his way through certain scenarios. So that is definitely a huge plus. And Payam's definitely looked like the Payams of old. I mean, he just motored right through, 6 up, 6 down, couple of strikeouts. His slider looked good, Dom. So, good for him. These are things you got to be patient with sometimes, and realize also how often this bullpen has been used so far in the young season as well. So those are 2 really good positives for sure.
On the Quinn Priester front, though, I busted out my highlighter here on the scorecard, and I highlighted counts that should have ended in strikeouts that were significant because it led to a run scoring. So, for instance, one that I'm talking about leading off the second inning, having a 2-2 count on Nolan Gorman before he pulls a double down the line. In the third inning, also leadoff hitter, having a 1-2 count on Mason Wynn, the 9-hitter, before 8 pitches later, he hitting a double down a left field line. Similar counts like that, right? Well, 5 of them came in the big third inning in which 2 runs scored. In total, he had 7 such counts where I felt, man, if you get a strikeout here, if you get a swing and miss here with 2 strikes on the guy, it changes the whole complexion of the inning. Now, he got 2 strikeouts later in the game. The walks continue to play Quinn Priester right now. And a reminder about Quinn, he's optionable. As Brendan Woodruff continues to rehab and come back, he's the next of the returning arms to be back for the Brewers. It feels like this is his spot to take for Quinn Priester because he can be optioned and work on what he's working on. The number one thing, in my opinion, Craig, that he needs to work on is developing a real bona fide strikeout pitch because there are too many 2-strike counts that are getting away from him right now.
Yeah, really good points for sure. And this obviously was his first rough outing in the limited time. What was this? I think his 4th start since he came over in the trade. And I used this word or description of him in my pregame show that when he came over in that trade, he was thrust into this starting lineup. He didn't even make a pitch on the major league level yet this season because he was in the minor leagues for Boston. So for what he did and whatever adjustments Chris Hook made with him up until now, the fact that he was able to figure that out, absorb that, use that, and go to work with it and get some success. I mean, you're going to have days like this. It probably could have been worse, to be honest with you today, but I'm kind of buying into that idea of yours. Of course, he's probably at some point, if things like this kind of get out of hand a little bit, has got to go back to the minor league level and try to work on some things. But they're going to know what that is. I mean, they're all over this guy as far as measuring him up, defining him. Redefining him for that matter. So I still like what this guy has brought, that's for sure. And he was off today. There's just no question about it, but you can pinpoint all the things that can be and probably will be corrected.
Yeah, the slider was not sharp really at all for the first 4 innings of this game. I would have liked to have seen a few more curveballs and cutters. Maybe there's a reason for that though too. Something in the approach from the Cardinals or that sort of thing, but nonetheless, it's a loss for him. The Brewers, or rather, it's a no decision, I should say, given the Brewers came back and tied the game, but it was looking like a loss given he exited the game with the Brewers trying to make a little bit of a comeback. When he exited, it was 5-2. But again, small win is that he made 5 innings work today. On the front tomorrow with Jose Quintana, I mean, there's no such thing as a must-win game in April. There's simply no such thing. But for your mentals, for your psyche, for your mojo heading into a plane ride and an off day, you got to get one tomorrow. It's not must-win, but, man, you really would want to.
Yeah, I mean, there is no such thing as must win until you look at what's been happening later, and you're like, I think tomorrow's a must win. You know why I say it's a must win tomorrow? Because this guy's pitching like he's going to win, and he has been. And he's won his first 3 starts as a Brewer, and he's pitched flawlessly. Well, for the most part, and I think he's going to bring it again tomorrow. The fact that he is adopted well into this organization, since he got here in early March, and he's had a great start to the season, and he's been around for what seems like forever. We know his experience. Who better a guy to send out on the mound tomorrow and just pitch, hopefully shut down baseball against St. Louis and give your team a chance, even if it's a low-scoring game. Let a couple of your hot hitters go to work tomorrow and see if somebody that's in a slump can break out of it. But I like to say it's okay to say it's a must win because of who's going to be out there, and you don't want to keep this thing going on the road, losing 5 straight into an off day and going into Chicago next week.
I agree entirely. Craig Kashan will be back with us again tomorrow. Appreciate your insight as always, my friend.
Okay, Dom. See you tomorrow.
All right, Craig Kashan. Real quick, thanks to our friends at Cider Heating, Plumbing, and Electrical. Spring's here. Warmer weather is on the way, I hope. But is your AC ready to keep you cool? Right now at Cider Heating, Plumbing, and Electrical, you can get $25 off an AC tune-up. But hurry, this deal is only good through the end of April. Visit cider.com, SEIDER.com to schedule your appointment today. We'll hear from the manager, Pat Murphy, in just a moment. A few more texts as well. 855-616-1620 on your home of the Brewers, 620 WTMJ.
Coming up, more Brewers Extra Innings on WTMJ.
Is your business ready to take the next step? At Fifth Third Commercial Bank Wisconsin, our team of local experienced advisors is here to propel you forward. We understand your needs and offer in-depth expertise, cutting-edge technology, and tailored solutions to streamline your cash collections, automate payments, and safeguard your assets with top-notch fraud mitigation tools. Contact Fifth Third in downtown Milwaukee today. Let's eliminate the non-value add work so you can focus on what truly matters, growing your business. Fifth Third Bank National Association. Custom solutions built around your goals. Member FDIC.
When you want the best medical attention, you don't just go to anybody, you go to a specialist. The same should be true with your car or truck. I'm Jim Token, president of the Auto Dealers Association of Metro Milwaukee. When your vehicle needs service, take it to a specialist, an Adam member new car dealer. Adam dealers use factory warranted parts, the latest diagnostic equipment, and certified manufacturer technicians specially trained on the advanced technology on your vehicle. They have all the latest manufacturer service bulletins and will know if your issue is covered by an existing warranty or if there are any recalls. And despite what you might assume, their prices are as low or lower than independent shops, even on routine maintenance and tires. Now, knowing all that, why would you even consider going anywhere other than an Adam member dealer?
For great paying job opportunities, visit adam.com. That's ADAMM.com.
Baseball is back. Brian Balaga here to bring you a proud partner of the Milwaukee Brewers. Surfside Iced Tea and Vodka and Surfside Lemonade and Vodka. A delicious and perfect pairing for a day at the ballpark. Stocked at American Family Field all season long. Surfside is only 100 calories per serving, and the best part, 0 bubbles. Ask for it at your local bar or liquor store. Surfside, an official partner of the Milwaukee Brewers. Must be 21 years of age. Please drink responsibly.
This is Brewers Extra Innings on WTMJ.
This text coming in here, 855-616-1620, 855-616-1620, the Sonic Unlimited WTMJ talk and text line. I'm Dom Cotroneo. With the Brewers being down with injuries to still like 5 pitchers, will any be back before September? Yes. There's plenty of time to get those guys back. I think Brandon Woodruff will be back in the next 3 weeks. Quite frankly, he's got the 30-day window already started. He's made 3 rehab assignments already. He'll make another one next week. They're giving him an extra day to recover and try to line up the days that he could return for the Brewers. But Woodruff will be back in May. Ashby is throwing to hitters in Arizona, as is DL Hall right now, too. Haven't received an update on Aaron Savali. It doesn't sound like Nestor Cortez is even close to throwing again, given he was placed on the 60-day IL. We will figure that out as soon as we know more. But there is more pitching on the way, but I think the question I think a lot of people are having right now is, what about offense? What's going on with the offense, which I think is a fair thought. On that one, has the clock struck midnight? Is it time to think about Vinny Capra? He's 0 for his last 28. In my opinion, Isaac Collins deserves a look on the infield. He came up as an infielder. He's playing the outfield lately in the minor leagues, and he's even got a little bit of reps at third, like we saw him get in there today. I'm ready to give Isaac Collins a little bit of a look here because he continues to hit. This is the whole point, to give him a run, give him a chance. I want to see Isaac Collins give it a shot and see what he can do because he's a switch hitter. He can play all over. Sometimes his utility players get penalized because they can play all over. I think it's a good thought there. But for Capra, man, I just want to see him get one hit. I just want to see him get a hit before that day comes. I'm really pulling for it to end with maybe a more positive note when it does end. That's enough of me talking. The manager had a lot going on today. A pitcher goes short, had to bench a couple of key players, had a big argument that didn't go his way. In his own words, Pat Murphy after today's 6-5 loss.
Part of Major League Baseball. It's hard to win a Major League game, and we did enough good things today to keep it close, maybe even win in some circumstances. But you got to credit the Cardinals. We tied it up, and they walked us off. I mean, credit them for their diligence and staying in the game. They're going through. They came into the series 10-15, so they were feeling what we're feeling now. And they played 2 really good games and played nearly flawless and hit in the clutch and did a lot of things. We did not play flawless again. We didn't play great defense today, and we did some things that you don't do if you're going to win baseball games consistently. But they're young players, and young players make mistakes. None of it out of not hustling, none of it out of not trying. The opposite, trying to create things when things aren't going well.
Mark, what was the explanation you got from the umpires on the Jackson base running play?
They said he purposely obstructed. I don't talk publicly about umpires, but that particular call they got wrong. That changed the game. But they're good umpires and they know what they're doing. It's judgment, and it simply wasn't the case. You're going to get that from time to time, but it took an out and a guy at third off the board. Unfortunate. But when things are going wrong, and things have been going wrong for us, you've got to be like a branch. When it's windy as heck out and the wind's blowing, if you're trying to fight that wind, the branch will break. You sometimes got to roll with it. These are the types of things that you go through. This could turn out to be a blessing in our season. It doesn't feel like it. Our young pitcher that went out there and pitched tonight, pitched with guts for 5 innings. He just, he's not polished yet. He's a young guy. Sonny Gray's polished. So, there's a lot to be hopeful for, but you got to go through this.
In the face of that adversity, then Isaac Collins comes off the bench, another hit against one of the best closers in baseball, and then Jackson, ties it up. That's a good answer, isn't it? In a tough situation.
I mean, that's the types of things today that you watched. I mean, Terang hit 2 balls on the nose, got nothing for it. Churio hit 4 balls on the nose. Hoskins lined out twice before he got a hit. Bowers lined out to left. Ortiz hit a ball off the pitcher that got caught by the second baseman for a great play that would have brought in another run. Durbin hits a line drive to left, it gets caught. So we had six balls caught that were hit hard, and but we didn't play clean baseball, but we didn't pitch great. But it's what we got to go through right now.
What went into your decision to take Sal and Caleb out of the game?
Young players that weren't playing the right way. You don't get picked off down 4. You're a good base runner, maybe one of our best base runners, and you don't get picked off down 4.
Was Sal, was it the missed cutoff that was the decision maker there?
Yep. Yeah, these are young players, and they got to know there's consequences for not playing right, or playing sloppy, and that's sloppy. Down 4, where are you going? What do we need to steal the third for?
And that kind of falls under the love and discipline that you've been talking about.
You got to send a message and take them out of the game. They're going to play like that. So they know better, both of them. They're two of our tougher guys, and I think you got to set the standard with those type guys. You know.
Jackson with 4 hits today. You got to like how he's swinging the bat.
Again, you can be criticized for sitting Jackson on the bench the other day that I did, in wherever town we were in, San Francisco. I sat him on the bench, and people are surprised by that. Like, so what? He had a bad game. Leave him in there. No, I knew he needed to think about it and watch, and he's responded since then.
Murph, what about the 2 innings you got from Payamps to put you in position there to tie the game?
Yeah, no, I'm happy for Joel to get off the. He was sidetracked a little bit, just he's thrown a lot of good innings for us, and he did the ball better today.
Good to see him get back on track indeed. But Churio getting 4 hits is easily our Surfside play of the game. Brought to you by Surfside, a proud partner of the Milwaukee Brewers. Surfside iced tea and vodka and Surfside lemonade and vodka, paired perfectly with a day at the ballpark. Stocked at American Family Field all season long. Quick, put a bow on the botched play, the base running lane. What does all that mean? That's coming up next, and then we'll get ready to say goodbye here on 620 WTMJ.
Coming up, more Brewers Extra Innings on WTMJ.
Trust in your family's comfort at home with Cider Heating, Plumbing, and Electrical. They're the oldest family-owned HVAC company in southeast Wisconsin. 4 generations of Ciders, and their highly trained technicians provide a one-stop shop for all home and business comfort needs, including an emergency service line that's always live and a 12-year parts and labor warranty on all Daikin products. Get peace of mind by scheduling maintenance today with Cider Heating, Plumbing, and Electrical. That's SEIDER, cider.com.
You only get one chance to make a first impression, and that goes double for your home listing, because that's how you're going to get the most value. By having a customized marketing plan specific to your property with professional photos, global marketing, and the built-in experience that Century 21 Benefit Realty has brought to the table since 2004. And being joined with Century 21 just makes all of the above stand out that much more. This is Angela Calais with Century 21 Benefit Realty, benefit-realty.com, where you pay less for full service. Each office is independently owned and operated.
So how is that possible? 1.9% real estate commission? There must be something you're not telling me.
I hear that a lot. The truth is, everybody could do it, but they choose not to because folks keep paying more than they have to. I guess they just haven't heard yet that Century 21 Benefit Realty can make that 1.9% real estate commission promise on the sale of your home and stick to it. So I'd like to think that's going to make your decision easy. This is Angela Calais with Century 21 Benefit Realty, benefit-realty.com, where you pay less for full service. Each office is independently owned and operated.
70 years ago, the Blaine brothers founded Blaine's Farm and Fleet as one of the nation's first retail stores to sell goods at a discount. And we've helped supply Midwest farms and families with quality products at unbeatable prices ever since. Like select Gordon's lawn treatments, $5 off, 10% off thoroughbred welding gas and cylinders, 15% off all mud flaps and rock tamer systems. Plus, we've lowered prices store-wide, so you can find the value you need to do things your way. Blaine's Farm and Fleet. Being original.
CertaPro Painters, transform my house. WTMJ's John Mercure here. It's absolutely beautiful. The pros came out to our house, sat down with my wife Michelle and me, weren't sure what color we wanted. They were able to walk us through specific colors for our house and for our neighborhood. That's just how they roll. For your home or business, it's CertaPro. Schedule your free estimate at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. Call right now and ask about their spring sales event going on now through May 15th. They are quite simply absolutely the best. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated.
This is Brewers Extra Innings.
I don't want to spend too long on the umpire ruling on Dom Cotroneo. The reason I waited till the end portion of the program to talk about it is because it's not the reason the Brewers lost the game. And I didn't want it to be misconstrued. You heard Pat Murphy's explanation of what he got from Marvin Hudson. The way the letter of the rule works is the runner's lane, the path, whatever you want to call it, is established by the runner on a force play. Churio looked back, saw Contreras field the baseball, and turned left. You may think that is a violation. That is not. He is establishing, I am going to run up the grass because I am allowed to do so because that is me establishing my running lane. what I believe the umpires were calling, and Murph said that he was obstructing, I wonder if the hand going up instinctively trying to protect his head. Again, he's wearing a helmet, like instincts kind of take over there. But the umpires felt that he was obstructing the play and having base runner interference, which puts him automatically out. But the reason why it's not interference is because Contreras chose to throw the ball there, right? And I know that's his angle. Like, Contreras is supposed to pocket that baseball and just step on first and say, all right, he's on second base. Because the letter of the law states that Churio is allowed to establish his own base path. We have seen this rule in the bigs, and we've seen the Brewers take the ball, pump fakes. Well, he's in the base path. He established his line. I'm going to go to the bag. This is a question to Major League Baseball. Can we get clarity on this rule? Can we create language to say you can't run on the grass? Right? That seems like a pretty easy solution. But then it's like, oh, well, then that means I can run as far as I want to the right. So that's where the can of worms comes in. Again, it wasn't the reason the Brewers lost the game. But I would like to see some clarity and some understanding of the base path rule, because we've seen it way too much over the last 3 years with the Brewers. And then, like, Judge's sliding mitt into second base last year, all that stuff. I feel like I have a really good grasp on the rules, and I also feel like the umpires do an incredible job at what they do. They're allowed to have a bad day, too. It's unfortunate. I think they got it wrong, but the Brewers lose a game. It's not because of it, but the Brewers lose a game. We move on. We say goodbye after our last break of the program here on 620 WTMJ.
After a crash with a semi-truck, everything can change instantly. At Gruber Law Offices, we have the knowledge and experience to make sure you're protected. And we're here to help whenever you need us. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Brewers baseball is here. Time to pick your Brewers games and get back to the ballpark for tailgate traditions and walk-off wins. Don't miss any of the big games or the superstars. And come back for the best giveaways. Where else would you want to be? Brewers tickets for the 2025 season are on sale now. That's every game all summer long. Get on board for the show today. Grab your seats at brewers.com/ticket finder.
Hey, it's WTMJ's Greg Matzik. Have you been to the Hounds and Tap yet? In Menominee Falls, this state-of-the-art facility and the ultimate hangout for hounds and humans. Grab a drink at the indoor-outdoor tavern, let your dogs hang out. You can even book professional grooming services, from pedicures to full spa treatments. Every day is a play day at the Hounds and Tap. Hang out with your dog and others, or drop your dog off for doggy daycare or doggy boarding services. Check out thehoundsandtap.com. That's thehoundsandtap.com.
Hey, Gina, did you hear about the draft?
Wayne, there's no draft at Pella.
There's definitely a draft. Right, Wildy?
Yeah,
everybody's talking about it.
Pella windows are constructed of the highest quality. No drafts.
Yeah, sure. Okay. No drafts. Got it. There's more than one draft?
No, but Pella should be everyone's number one pick, because right now at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, get no interest financing options or free glass upgrades when you order by April 30th. Our talented designers and installers can match your unique home through dramatic sizes, custom colors, finishes, profiles, product types, and more, along with durable and distinguished details. All Pella products stand the test of time, which is why we confidently offer the best wood warranty in the industry.
So where is the draft?
Coon. Get no interest financing options or free glass upgrades at PellaWI.com.
Certain restrictions apply. Ends 4/30/2025.
This is Brewers Extra Innings on WTMJ.
All right. Hit the reset button. Turn it off, turn it on, unplug it. Get a system update. Trade it in, trade it up. Go get an upgraded phone. Whatever it needs to be done. The Brewers are going to try to do it tomorrow. First pitch, same time, same place, 1:15. We're on the air at noon with Brewers warm-up, getting you ready for Jose Quintana against Eric Fetty. And then it's an off day on Monday. No baseball. The Brewers head to Chicago, south side. White Sox will be the opponent. 6:40 on both Tuesday and Wednesday. And then 1:10, if I'm not mistaken, on Thursday. Just double-checking here for confirmation's sake. And that is indeed the case, 110. Quick note, though. Tomorrow, don't have to worry about moving stations. The Bucks don't tip off till 8:30 tomorrow. So we'll be here on WTMJ, no problem. Tuesday, we are likely going to slide over to ESPN Milwaukee for that opener against the White Sox, since we know there will be a Game 5 now in Indiana. Now, if there's a Game 6, that would be scheduled for next Friday. We don't know the game time of that one yet. If there's a Game 6, and that would also need to be slid, most likely, to ESPN Milwaukee. So just keep an eye out for that stuff. WTMJ as normal tomorrow. It's a doubleheader of Milwaukee sports. You got Brewers finale in St. Louis, Bucks Game 4 against the Pacers right here on WTMJ. As for the Brewers and what needs to be done, I mean, like I said in the pregame show, would you rather make a double bogey on the first or the last? Well, they've made a couple double bogeys here in the first 3 holes or so of this tournament, but Rory McIlroy set a Masters record for most double bogeys in a tournament and still won. That's a really dumb analogy. I just heard you say that through your radios, through your podcast feeds, but it's the analogy I'm going with. Positive, looking forward, flush it, figure it out. As more data comes in, we'll react to it. But for now, the Brewers know it needs to be fixed, and quite frankly, it's pretty fixable. And I'm looking forward to them getting back on track this week. Our producer has been Evan Wittallison. I'm Dom Cotroneo. Back tomorrow at noon. Until then, keep on swinging.
ESPN Wisconsin's Brian Balazs